CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you're with us. On this Monday, May 4th, a 17-year-old girl was taken to hospital after a collision in the greater Sudbury community of Chelmsford. Police responded to the crash around 11:30 last night. It happened along Highway 144 between a vehicle and a pedestrian. The teen was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police are asking anyone with information on the collision to contact them. All right, moving now to the weather. Seasonal temperatures out there, but expect a little more cloud cover and possibly some rain. For more details, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
Well, let's begin, Tony. May the 4th be with you. After all, for all the Star Wars nerds out there, why not? Systems Map, courtesy of Environment Canada. It's all brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. We've got a lot of sleet coming into the forecast this week. Some cooler temperatures. In some cases, not close to seasonal, but it will be cool. We could get showers, we could get flurries. And for the most part, we survived the weekend rather cool in some cases. But then again, we move on to another week of, well, indecisive weather, Tony. How does that describe the weather this week? I think it describes it very well. We'll have some details on the 5-day forecast coming up.
Thanks for that, Rick. Wikwemicong Tribal Police have charged 4 people in a major drug bust. Friday, police seized what they believe to be cocaine, fentanyl, and other street drugs valued at more than $126,000, along with $20,000 in cash. Officers also confiscated illegal weapons. In light of these and other incidents in the community, Wikwemicong Council held a news conference live on social media this morning. Officials saying they'd held an emergency meeting over the weekend, and when it comes to drugs and violence, enough is enough.
The most important direction approved is this. People, community members, anyone involved in serious drug trafficking, weapons of violence, intimidation, exploitation, or harboring dealers will be removed from Wikwemicong and prevented from returning to our community unless they meet strict conditions.
The duration would be a minimum of 2 years and apply to repeat offenders. The chief adding first-time offenders could be prohibited from the community if the crime is serious enough in nature. He stressed this is not a punishment, especially for those who are battling addictions and mental health, saying the 2 years should be used to access treatment, find legitimate employment, and rebuild trust with the community. The Wikwemicong Tribal Police Chief added the police service is supporting council's decision. Also over the weekend, tribal police responded to gunshots in the village of Wikwemicong, and one man had to be airlifted to Sudbury's Health Sciences North after he was injured in the shooting. A 32-year-old man from the unceded territory was arrested at the scene and charged with attempted murder and other firearms-related offenses. Police are asking anyone with surveillance footage to contact them. OPP in Kirkland Lake have charged 3 people with attempted murder after a weapons-related incident Saturday afternoon. Police were called to Wood Street after reports of a firearm. One person was taken to the local hospital before being flown to a trauma center with life-altering injuries. The suspects were all from Quebec and were apprehended with support from Sûreté du Québec. Electra Battery Materials has signed a deal with the federal government. It will unlock another $20 million to complete construction and commissioning of the battery-grade cobalt sulfate refinery south of Timmins Shores. We get more from CTV's Eric Tashner.
Then turn it to a pulp.
Construction is progressing on the new $100 million cobalt sulfate refinery at Electra Battery Materials.
Raw feed is stored here.
In March 2025, negotiations between the company and the federal government began on a $20 million deal. Today, that deal was signed. The funding includes a combination of repayable and non-repayable contributions, bringing Ottawa's total investment to $35 million since 2020.
In the world in which we're heading, where we're going to be relying on lithium-ion batteries for various consumer products, but in particular for electric vehicles, we require this particular ingredient.
Eventually, we may have the capacity to take additional feedstock from local projects as they come online. For now, we'll be bringing material in from very select companies in DRC. So 80% of the world's cobalt comes from the Congo today.
In 2024, the U.S. Department of Defense contributed $20 million U.S. to kickstart refinery construction. But since then, American lawmakers have gotten cold feet on EVs. Meanwhile, senior levels of government are buying in. Last September, the province chipped in $17.5 million, and Rochefort says the federal government sees the value in the plant.
In general, throughout the world, electric vehicles is the trend, and so basically we anticipate that there's going to be substantial need.
About 94% of the current global supply of refined cobalt comes from China. Electra's goal is to stand out as one of the few producers with no ties to foreign entities.
There's only one other facility in the world outside of this one that can do what this one can do. So this will be the first of its kind here in North America and the only one producing cobalt sulfate here on the continent.
Electra aims to start producing the compound in early 2027. 60 new full-time jobs will be added, and the refinery will be able to produce 6,500 tons of cobalt sulfate annually, enough to support domestic production of up to 1 million electric vehicles per year.
Really, really nice to see it getting really close to fruition, and really looking forward to working closely with Electra.
The majority of production will be sold to LG Energy Solution under a legally binding contract. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Cobalt.
The federal government is providing relief for the steel and aluminum sectors hit hard by U.S. tariffs. It's a $1 billion loan program the government says will help protect workers and ensure companies have the support they need to keep operating.
The BDC will be offering favorable terms for 3-year loans. The loans will be between $2 million up to $50 million. The first year will be 0 interest rate, and afterwards, year 2nd and 3rd will be very low rates. There will be no repayment for the entire 3 years, only actually interest to be paid on these loans, and at the end of the 3-year, that's when repayment will be asked.
Algoma Steel posting on X today thanking the government for the loan, saying in part access to timely financing tools to strengthen competitiveness is critical to maintaining a strong domestic supply chain and supporting Canadian jobs. The government also announced an additional $500 million to the already existing Regional Tariff Response Initiative to help small and medium businesses impacted by tariffs. Canada has already imposed a 25% duty on a list of American steel products worth $12.6 billion and aluminum products worth $3 billion in response to Trump's tariffs. It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Rick has your full weather forecast. But first, we are heading to the mouth of the Michipicoten River that flows into Lake Superior. It's courtesy of the municipality of Wawa. It's 7 degrees. We will return in just a few minutes.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
What a Monday. Everyone's feeling great. Montreal won last night, advancing to round 2. And for those of you who don't like Montreal, well, you'll have to enjoy the Habs and Sabres or some other series in the playoffs. Let's get on to the weather. Forecast radar. Right now we've got some sleet and a lot more in our forecast. We'll get into some of those numbers now. Sudbury, Nickelbelt, we've got sleet or rain, flurries in some cases, chance of showers for tomorrow. 40%, 8 degrees, your high 11 Wednesday with the sunshine. So you get a day of sunshine, then you've got 3 consecutive days of sleet, showers or flurries, all at 30%, 8 and 9 degrees, your expected highs. But what is disturbing are the evening temperatures. Not very warm. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of flurries tomorrow at 6. Sunshine on Wednesday at 7. Here we go. Sleet 3 consecutive days at 8 and 9 once again. And your evening temperatures -4, -2, and 0. We will see better days and nights. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of sleet. Wow, what a run here. 60% for tomorrow, 30% Wednesday, 30% Thursday, Friday 30%, and 30% on Saturday. Your highs ranging from 4 6, 7, 8 degrees. Evening temperatures not very impressive. It's going to be one of those weeks, Timmins, Cochrane, and Kapuskasing. Meanwhile, Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, here we go. Chance of showers tomorrow at 40%. 10 degrees your high. 12 on Wednesday, sun and cloud. Chance of sleet Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Here we go. 10, 8, and 9. Your daytime highs, even your nighttime temperatures -3, -2, and only +1. Okay, we'll have to improve on that. And in North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of showers 11 degrees for tomorrow. Wednesday, we've got sun and cloudy 11, 9, 8, and 9. Pretty well sums up Thursday, Friday, Saturday with a 30% chance of sleet, either showers or flurries. Your evening temperatures 0, 1, and a -1. So, Tony, I guess we could call this week's forecast somewhat sloppy with the flurries or showers in the forecast. Some evening temperatures not very warm, but we'll get through this and get on. Hopefully we'll have a nice Mother's Day if this forecast can change. Back to you.
Thanks a lot for that, Rick. With a need for more housing in Greater Sudbury, vacant schools could be the answer. We get more from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
Yes.
Peter No points out which part of this new housing development in New Sudbury was once a former school.
There's lots of land here, which is what we were looking for. Above and beyond the school, there's quite a bit of land that we developed 3 additional buildings behind the school, and the location was fantastic for development.
Stonebrook Suites is a 74-unit housing development. 20 of those units were once a part of the St. Bernadette Catholic Elementary School, shuttered in 2015. No says there wasn't much difficulty retrofitting the school. They even refurbished the old gym and are still adding more housing to the property. Meanwhile, 3 vacant school properties in the valley are up for sale on the GovDeals auction website. All are former school properties owned by Conseil Scolaire Catholique Nouvelon. All could potentially be used for housing. According to Sudbury's housing supply strategy, 112 purpose-built rental units are needed each year for the next 30 years. But the city stopped short of buying property itself and instead updated its zoning bylaw, allowing institutional properties be used for residential use.
Incentives that we have in place apply to a broad geography, so they're not limited strictly to the adaptive reuse of school sites, but allow for a broad range of adaptive reuse or for new development as well on existing vacant sites across the city.
No says there are still a few units left at Stonebrook Suites, and he's developing other housing sites elsewhere.
We're developing more in Chelmsford presently right now. We also have some land in the South End that we're proposing to do some development in the near future.
Any schools?
I've went to look at a few schools, but a few of them were a little bit run down.
No says he's not opposed to buying and developing a vacant school again, adding it just must be the right opportunity. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Today is the National Day of Remembrance, and the Netherlands and Canadians took part in the ceremony at the Algonquin Regiment in North Bay. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
Empty jars with the Netherlands flag soon came to life with tulips as the bell rang.
The Algonquin Regiment had a very vital role to play in liberating the town of Welberg in World War II. And a year ago, the bell was gifted to us and to ring every 4th of May and also the first Sunday in November in celebration of our friendship, our continued heritage, that history of liberation.
The bell was one of 2 that was gifted to Canada to ring in unison with the bell in Welberg, Netherlands, honoring all who passed away in World War II and during the Battle of Welberg.
I think it shows the ties that we have, both based on our history together, a history forged in war in World War II, but it's also a history that endures into today and into the future.
Sandra O'Grady's father was one of the Canadian soldiers who was taken as a prisoner of war and says the bell will serve as a reminder of the past to ensure Canada always remembers.
I don't have the words. I think it's so important for survivors like myself and everybody else to remember.
As part of the Dutch tradition, all who attended were invited to ring the bell and place a flower to show respect for the past and for the memory of the lives forever changed. Madison Merrier, CTV News, North Bay.
An Army reservist from the 33 Canadian Brigade Group will be training in Sudbury this month. Soldiers from across Ontario will be seen along local roadways in full uniform and gear, including unloaded weapons. Residents are asked to take extra caution around the soldiers and military vehicles if you come across them on the roads. Environmental education coming up on CTV News at 5. Students in the Rainbow District School Board learn from a professional explorer and best-selling author. Big news for Mattawa as the Canadian Ecology Centre is getting set to reopen after an 11-month hiatus. The centre closed after a devastating storm moved through Samuel D. Champlain Provincial Park last June. Its founder says the not-for-profit has had no money coming in, which has left it with a shortfall. As a result, he tells CTV News the park looks different and that will play a role in the curriculum.
And so now when you go into the park, you're going to see parts of the park landscape. They've taken away all the trees. In some places, they've taken away all the stumps. It's very, very stark. And what was a dense forest with enormous red and white pine trees is now gone.
Steer says the centre is still working to make up a $300,000 shortfall. The Canadian Ecology Centre will reopen May 8th. Ontario Mine Rescue's district competitions are going to get underway this week. They're going to be held in 5 different locations with 8 districts competing. First response skills will be put to the test. Skills like firefighting, collapse, extrication, and first aid. It also deals with low visibility environments while wearing breathing apparatuses. Officials say these types of scenarios get them ready for the underground environment.
We try to make them as realistic as possible. We're going to have our mine rescue officers throughout the next, week, probably even starting this weekend, setting up arenas to look, mimic an underground mine as much as we possibly can.
Ontario Mine Rescue competitions start Wednesday. The provincial competition is in Sudbury in June. Students from the Rainbow District School Board took over Laurentian University's Fraser Auditorium today for the annual Eco Summit. CTV's Lindsay Alec reports.
Warm, it felt like a good day to be setting off for the Arctic.
Keynote speaker, professional explorer, and national best-selling author Adam Schultz shared about his latest adventure, a 3,400-kilometer solo journey from Lake Erie to the Arctic.
It seemed like I was among kindred spirits. They were extremely enthusiastic. We had a whole forest of hands go up there. But I was hoping that if I can inspire them to care a little bit more about going out into the wild, then you're already planting the seed for environmental stewardship.
The annual event put on by the Rainbow District School Board's Environmental Education Committee celebrated the theme of our land, our forests, our life.
We're hoping that all of our students become inspired and empowered to take all of their learnings to go back to their school communities and implement some positive change.
Greenhouse work, we have a learning team.
Students got to hear what other schools in the board are already doing, as well as participate in workshops from yoga to invertebrate identification and food forests to discovering the story of Junction Creek.
Nature's really cool and it can be more interesting than you would think.
Like there's a lot to explore that we also haven't seen yet. And I think people should try to explore more of it.
This is the 3rd year for the Eco Summit, and officials say plans are already underway for next year. Over 350 students from grades 6 to 12 took part in today's event. Lindsay Alec, CTV News, Sudbury.
Pure Country Catch-Up. When we return, we see what Josh and Coop are up to. You're watching First at 5.
Well, it's Josh and Coop from Pure Country Mornings here in Sudbury. No shortage of winning and no shortage of winning opportunities recently with our station. First of all, May the 4th be with you. As you can see, Josh has turned to the dark side. By that, I don't mean he's gone to the Montreal Canadiens fan base side of things, but we'll move on from that. He's an Anaheim Ducks fan. Can you believe that? But on our station earlier this morning, we announced a winner of free pizza for a year. Congratulations again going to Lynn, being our grand prize winner.
And then also a new contest started up this morning called Anytime, Anywhere, giving you an opportunity to win a $4,000 travel voucher. And then we're going to throw in $1,000 as well. So you can basically travel anywhere, anytime you want. And also this month, we are taking qualifiers as we will be giving away general admission weekend passes to Boots and Hearts 2026. With that, you get your parking, your tent campsite, and more. All those details can be found on our website, purecountry917.ca. You can listen on the radio dial. We're on weekday mornings between 5:30 and 9, or listen for free on the iHeartRadio app. And again, may the 4th be with you.
Our first community close-up comes to us from Timmins. Gracie's Gang is hosting an indoor yard sale on Saturday in the 101 Mall. It runs from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. The gang consists of family and friends of Grace Ben, who is suffering from Alzheimer's. All proceeds from the event will go to the Alzheimer's Society. To Sault Ste. Marie, where on Wednesday, the main branch of the public library is hosting a session for newcomers to learn about financial literacy. It runs from 6:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. A representative from Sun Life Financial will discuss banking and credit in Canada, taxation, and financial protection. This Saturday and Sunday in Sudbury, the local art club's spring art show and sale is happening. It runs 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. both days, May 9th and 10th. It's all taking place at the Carmichael Community Center in Minnow Lake. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. Discovery Routes in North Bay is kicking off its 2026 Recycle Bikes program. While the program started off just collecting bikes, it's now accepting any gently used outdoor gear, including hiking poles, snowshoes, and cross-country skis. Donation collections will run on Wednesday from May 6th to June 24th at Laurentian Lower Lodge from 3 p.m. to 6. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.